So we've planted the other strawberry guava right on the other side of the fence of Wetland Zone 1, heavily shaded area, pretty much under the oak canopy, some palm trees and elderberries and stuff like that. Pretty close to the other strawberry, Cattleya guava, which is in Wetland Zone 1. For now, we're going to talk about pawpaws. Where is our pawpaw experiment going? Look how pretty these American beautyberry flowers are. They just go up and down the stalk, and then you got the berries that form all up and down them. So I actually did like a 17 or so minute video the other day on pawpaws. Tried to upload it for 2 days, did not want to upload, kept getting failures. So maybe I'm just going to do a little bit shorter video now. For potentially over 20-ish years, more give or take, I've been working with bringing pawpaws to north central Florida, and obviously there are people that have had successes with like Gainesville, and there was another one close to Palatka area that had successes a long time ago with bringing plant material from like Louisiana to his area after like a lot of people, professors and horticulturists said, no, you cannot bring pawpaws this far south. They will not do anything for you. And we're talking, of course, about the Asimina tarloba. And we're trying to graft a few really late in the season on some of the pawpaws. That's a Wilson that may or may not take it this late in the season. In order to have success with pawpaws, we need to be able to at first produce enough fruit to produce seeds, which will therefore allow us to produce seedlings. So we haven't been able to produce much fruit, but the first fruit seeds that we got, we sowed them directly in the ground. A lot of people that grow up in northern states, they'll put them in a compost pile, or they say, okay, even if we use this for grafting material, we'll plant the fruit or the seeds directly from the fruit right where we want to grow the plant to graft later on. Well, in north central Florida, we may not have the consistent chill hours for that to get their cold stratification that they need to sprout, the next spring or early summer. Then last year, we went ahead and gave them their cold stratification in the refrigerator. In this tire planting area, we put one of the seeds there. We had like a half barrel somewhere else where we planted more seeds after we did the cold stratification. Nothing yet, but if by August 1st there's no pawpaw seedlings coming up out of there, then that's not really looking good for us to have successes. Well, there is someone else nearby in Gainesville that has tried over and over again to cold stratify seeds and to try to get seedlings to come up. That's not too far from here. It might be, depending on where in Gainesville they are. If they're in downtown, they might have a 5 or 6 degree warmer area, microclimate. If they're not, if they're out in the country, then they're probably pretty much the same as where we are as far as temperatures. That guy also had trouble transplanting root suckers, which is very hard to do. They have a high failure rate, and you really got to baby them and try to take the root from the mother plant like a year ahead of time, or you don't have to, but that gives you a greater chance of success. Chop that root and then come back the next year and then dig up the plant, trying to preserve as much of its, fine hair roots and stuff as possible. So another guy that has a nursery license and has a permaculture garden and stuff has a field of pawpaws And even though he has dozens of actual pawpaw trees, they're pretty much all genetically the same because he's never gotten fruit from them. His theory is that they need full sun here. And this guy here and a couple other ones have pretty good sunlight. This guy has a lot of sunlight. And we hand pollinated this guy and like one or two other trees, two other ones, one even bigger, which was in the shade, and one smaller and pretty much full shade as well. These guys seem like they took, then they just disappeared, the berries, fruit, and this guy here's got two up there, which most likely we didn't even pollinate, and the Tennessee seedling. Yeah, I've only been able to spot like one or two fruits on it as well, which was way higher than we would have pollinated. So it's like the trees only want to pollinate so much. They kind of want to produce what they want to produce here. But you would think that if they flower so well, that they're getting everything they need to produce fruit, especially if they're big enough to hold fruit on them. And both of these guys are. This guy could probably hold 15 or more fruit on it. The Tennessee one probably could hold 50 or 100 fruit on it, you know. We're at the stage now where we've been working at this so many years that if we don't have the successes of getting fruit, which is, you know, and we got a little bit of fruit, and supposedly when, you know, the small fruit that we got before was due to the lack of fertilizer. We've been fertilizing everything. Hopefully this year, if the fruit stay on to ripeness, they will be fully sized. So I'm kind of wondering if also, because the fruit was so small, maybe the seeds weren't as viable as they would be if it was a full-size fruit. Because if you look online and compare, you know, the seed sizes of what we've produced here to the seeds in other people's, you know, full-size pawpaws, these, you know, their seeds are a lot bigger. So you have to wonder if, you know, we could have over fertilized it, you know, a little bit this year, but that's okay as long as these guys go into growth mode and we can get them ready for next year. But pretty much all we can do now is maybe diversify a little bit more, maybe bring some more plant material in more sunlight, and then just, you know, give it, you know, a very, you know, small amount of fertilizer 2, 3, 4 times a year, and not try to worry about them, you know, because we kind of just let these guys grow and grow and grow for years. Put a little bit of fertilizer out. That's about it, you know. We're to the point where if we can't have successes on multiple levels, producing fruit, producing, you know, viable seeds, seedlings, hand pollinating, you know, to pick what we want to breed, and having decent quantity and quality of fruit here, then there's no use in us doing this unless we have something that is successful. So yeah, maybe next year will be our last hoorah for a while with the pawpaws, and let everything that any new material I get just grow and grow. Make sure it gets adequate fertilizer and mulch or whatever, and that's about all we can do.